Well, race fans, we got a great show lined up for you tonight. We want to thank Booze Brothers Performance, specializing in new and used racing parts. Sebco Village Mart, get your gas and goodies at Sebco Village Mart. RBS Auto and Trailer Sales, if you're looking for a great trailer. RBS Auto and Trailer Sales in Sykesville, Maryland. Tonight's business partner is Bip and Bop Market Shop in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's that time of the year. Reefs are where it's at. And these young ladies, two sisters, know how to showcase their talents. Go to facebook.com, Bip and Bop Market Shop. Also want to thank Flow Racing. Got a great show lined up for you tonight. Hudson O'Neill will be on the phone, as well as Jason Covert. Both of these individuals coming off of two big wins. Covert down at Potomac Speedway and Hudson O'Neill out at Pittsburgh. I'm Danny Wilson. Shay Judy's in the house. Thank you all so much. You get an opportunity to share this much as you possibly can. We're going to have Alan Saggy on the phone. And we want to thank Corey Simmons. He's got a big show tomorrow night. A lot of great things happening here on Turn 5 Turnaround's Facebook page and our website. Stick with us here on Dirt Track and Tuesday. We'll be right back, race fans. Turn 5 Turnaround, in conjunction with Antietam Media Services, proudly presents to you Dirt Track and Tuesday. Dirt Track and Tuesday is being brought to you by Booze Brothers Performance, specializing in new and used racing parts. Booze Brothers Performance in Marion, PA. Sebco Village Mart. Get your gas and goodies at Sebco Village Mart in Marion, PA. RBS Auto and Trailer Sales, located in Sykesville, Maryland. RBS Auto and Trailer Sales. Roy's Body Shop. No job too big or too small for Roy's Body Shop in Sykesville, Maryland. Jim and McFarland Custom Painting and Wall Coverings, located in Winchester, Virginia. Book your dream hunt today with Big Cove Whitetail Trophy Hunts, located at Big Cove Tannery, PA. Viper Risk Management Group, specializing in your insurance needs, located in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. D&D Auto Recycling, they're also a Sunoco race fuel dealer, located in Williamsport, Maryland. Hyatt Racing Products, specializing in your safety, located in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Chaz's Used Auto Parts and Towing in Tawnytown, Maryland. We also need to thank KRS Graphics in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Flores Tree Services, covering Virginia, West Virginia, and beyond. The guys from PA, Sprint Car Live, Beer Hill Gang TV. Linex of Sykesville, Maryland. WRT Speedworks, a leader in racing photography. Champion Auto Sales in Winchester, Virginia. Saffel Photography. Team 95, Dan's Auto Body, Michael Wattabelli Jr. Dirt on Dirt, Flow Racing. And if you're looking to represent your race team or get some Turn 5 clothing, go to mbsportscollectibles.com. And once again, we want to thank Bip and Bop Market Shop. Reefs for every occasion. Showcasing some amazing talents by two wonderful ladies. And we're going to be talking with one of those ladies here shortly. Facebook.com, Bip and Bop Market Shop. And we also want to thank this segment sponsor, Creekside Auto Sales. 717-467-5563, Dover, Pennsylvania. If you're looking for a great pre-owned vehicle, Creekside Auto Sales, Dover, Pennsylvania. And do me a favor, tell them Turn 5 sent you. Danny Wilson, Shay Judy's here.
Just barely made it in.
Well, you landed the Lear Jet out here, the Turn 5 Lear Jet out in the driveway, and it looks pretty good, all lettered up.
Yes, I did. Thank you. And I will say, though, it's a pain trying to land, that giant jet, over here at your mansion with your 20 cars out in the driveway and the driveway that's about as wide as the backstretch of Talladega. So it's still, a pain to try to land an actual, Boeing 747.
I wonder how many people on the show right now is going, where's this guy live? Shenandoah County, just outside of Woodstock, Virginia is where I live.
He's in a gated community, and you have a maid and two butlers.
Well, the maid would be the wife, and the butler would be the dog.
Okay, yep. So you have that one. Then you have another. that's the part-time maid. Then you have another maid that comes in, and then you have another butler because your other butler, Javier, he was the one that he was the one that greeted me when I got off the plane.
Oh my goodness. Oh, folks, we got a great show lined up for you tonight. Hudson O'Neal, he'll be with us at 8:15. He's coming off a big win out at Pittsburgh, and then we're going to be wrapping the show up with Jason Covert coming off a big win at Potomac Speedway, and you know.
We made our predictions last week to pick to see who was going to be winning at Potomac and also at Pittsburgh.
I wasn't even close.
None of us were close. I mean, actually, I will say this, though. You were close on one thing. You did pick Kyle Hardy to win last weekend, but
at the wrong track.
The wrong track.
And wrong division.
Yes, that too. He did win the crates on Friday night. But, I'll tell you what. Not many people may realize it, but Hudson O'Neal was actually in the B main on Saturday night for the Pittsburgher. Won the B, and I had completely forgotten. I wasn't really paying much attention to him. And I thought at one point, he was a lap down or whatever. And then next thing you know, here he is moving up into third place. And I was standing on top of Levi Krause's trailer in the infield. And I looked over at Austin Stover, and we made eye contact, and we both mouthed the words, "Where did he come from?" at the same time.
Wow.
And there he was. So just goes to show.
What do we got there on Facebook? Got some people logging in?
Yep, have a lot of people watching us here on the Facebook side. Got a couple of the crew guys from Team 95 watching us.
Excellent. Well, we got a lot of racing happening this weekend.
Yes, we do.
And we're going to kind of work around different events, but this is going to be on Sunday, the 10th. 4:10 event at Trailway Speedway. 6 p.m. will be the start time, and go to their website or Facebook page. They got some pretty good money coming out on that event. Also, this weekend on Saturday, Lincoln Speedway, super late models. Now, one of our guests, Jason Covert, I believe is planning on being at this event at Lincoln Speedway on Saturday, October the 9th. This is going to be a really good night. They got 358 sprints, limited late models, which is basically steelbook late models, and arch night as well.
And I'll tell you what, the sprint car doctor, Tyler Koenig, is going to be extremely happy here for the show here at Lincoln on Saturday night because as you guys can see, it's got the super late models, and it's also got 358 sprint cars, so can't beat that.
Also this weekend on Friday and Saturday night in Pennsylvania at Port Royal Speedway, World of Outlaw sprint cars, $10,000 to win on Friday night, $15,000 to win on Saturday night. Wow, that's going to be a big weekend for them.
Yes, indeed, and don't forget about the support divisions either. On Friday night, you're going to have the limited late models competing. Top 26 in points only for that show on Friday night, and then you're going to have the PASS 305 sprint cars with the top 26 in points only showing up. So it's going to be a pretty good, not just for the World of Outlaw sprint cars, but also for the support divisions both nights as well.
Path Valley Speedway on Saturday night. Limited late models will be the headliner, plus some other divisions. And Path Valley has done really well this year.
Yes, they have. Extremely well. Whether you guys are into the late models, you guys are in the modifieds, street stocks, or even in the micros, everything that they've had down there has been pretty good so far this year.
And we also talked about this event last weekend on the show, super late models, $5,000 to win at Clinton County Speedway up in Pennsylvania as well. That's going to be on Saturday night. And, again, they were pretty amped up about making this happen at that racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia Motor Speedway, two-day event. Now, if you want to see cars go fast, that's the track to go to because they will be up on the wheel. Again, it's being brought to you by the ULMS Series as well as the Ironman Late Model Series. $5,000 to win on Friday night, $15,000 to win on Saturday night. But the track that I think is going to do exceptionally well, and that will be Potomac Speedway. They have their small car nationals kicking things off with practice on Thursday night. Friday night will be qualifying, and then Saturday nights will be all of the main events. Go to their website, their Facebook page to be able to get all the details, but that'll be at Potomac Speedway. Big weekend for them. Really looking forward to just seeing kind of the bigger events at the tail end of the year as to the who's who can capture the money races in our area. So pretty excited about everything that's happening within our area. Some of the races are a little bit further away. I'm actually planning on going down to Smoky Mountain Speedway on Friday night to film for Dirt on Dirt, and because they canceled their Castrol race on Thursday night at Tri-County Raceway in Georgia, so I won't be going to that event. But still a lot of racing, really not that far away.
Indeed. And so now just remind me, Smoky Mountain, that's a Lucas Oil race, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a makeup race because they got ringed out earlier this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you get to do what Corey and I did this past weekend. You get to hang out with James Essex and Rick Schwally and Jeremy Shields.
That's right. James Essex, the voice of the Lucas Oil Series. And it's I love working with those folks. They're a good group of people. But
Yes, they are. Yep.
And one of the Lucas Oil guys are going to be with us later tonight. Race fans, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to see if we can get our sponsor of tonight's show to answer the phone, and hopefully she does. Emma is basically, I guess, the owner of Bip and Bop, and hopefully we can get her to answer. Let me see if I can get this going. Shay, what we got there while I'm dialing this number?
Just a bunch of people joining us in, and Sean Jones is watching. And Sean, if you're going to West Virginia Motor Speedway, good luck this weekend. I'll be at Lincoln, so you know exactly what happens when I'm at the same track as you. So, and also, awesome job on a good run down at Del Mar this past weekend too.
Absolutely. He's a good guy. We've had him on the show a couple times.
Yes, we have.
Pretty good egg. Now, let's see if we can get her to answer the phone. This always scares me. Hopefully I dialed the right number. If not, we're going to blame it on Corey Simmons.
Hello.
Hello, Emma. This is Danny Wilson. We're live on Dirt Track and Tuesday. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Danny. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great since your boyfriend gave me your telephone number, and he said you got some exciting news with some of these reefs that you're making, and I am quite impressed. I went to your Facebook page. Your talents are amazing, and you make reefs for pretty much any occasion.
Yeah, that's right. We got different occasions. We have different seasons, different holidays, different styles. And we're starting to try to do some sports ones. So we've got a lot up our sleeve to be even more creative.
Now, I know you're in Pittsburgh, but let's say for some reason somebody in West Virginia, Virginia, or outside of the Pittsburgh area, can you ship something to them if they request to have a particular design made?
Yeah, I sure can. So I have all the supplies in my house to be able to box them up and ship them safely so they get to you in one piece. And if it's something pre-made, I try to get it shipped out in the next 1 to 2 business days. And then if it's a custom one, then it just kind of depends on how long it would take me to get all the supplies together. But then assembly usually only takes me about a day. So it just kind of depends.
So for the fans that are watching, where does your typical starting point as far as pricing goes? I know they're all a little bit different, but where do you typically start as a pricing point? That way they kind of have an idea of whether they want to make a reef customized or not.
Sure. So some of the more simple ones they start at about $20, and then the more complex they get, some of the different shapes. The ones that are going to have kind of a more specific supply list, they can get up into probably about the $40-$50 range, and then it'll cost a little bit for the assembly process as well. But really, it's just kind of however much the supplies will cost, and I try to be pretty savvy when I go out and get all my supplies together.
Now, how many years have you been doing this? Because you don't just develop a talent like this overnight. This is something that to me, would take time to really develop this skill and to be able to have that vision as to what the end product is going to be. How many years have you been doing this?
Well, Danny, believe it or not, I really only started in summer of 2020 as
oh my.
Yeah, it was kind of the work from home part of COVID just started to get to me, and the job I had previously to the one I'm in now, just it didn't have enough work really to keep me busy, and I just needed to get my hands working again, get my creative juices working again. And so I just started playing around, and as I went along, I got better and started getting a little more attention, and now it just kind of developed into what you see now. And I love experimenting with different things and trying out new designs and new shapes, and so we are always evolving.
All right, I got to ask the $1 million question. How did you come up with the name for your business? It's very unique and very catchy.
So my younger sister, she's 3.5 years younger than me, and she's my best friend in the whole wide world. And when we get together, we're just incredibly silly. And so my mom actually more often than not will refer to us as, Bip and Bop or the Bopsy twins. And so we were just trying to think of something that was like catchy and cute and wasn't necessarily specific to wreath making, because my sister is a part of the business too, and she likes to make, she does her own thing. And so we came up with, the Bip and Bop Market Shop because it, it rhymes, it's catchy, it'll stick in your mind because it's unique. And we just thought it was like a cute kind of like all-encompassing title for what we're trying to do.
Well, race fans, now's the time to order these for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I'm sure that she can get creative and come up with some of them that are racing related, or if you just want to give a gift to someone. So go to their Facebook page, facebook.com, Bip and Bop Market Shop. I'm blown away at some of the items that I've seen on your page. Final thoughts for the race fans. This is good stuff, and thank you for being a part of our show tonight.
Of course. Thank you for having me. And we do have some, with Corey being, a significant part of my life and racing being a significant part of his, we do have some racing ones up our sleeves. So stay tuned and you'll probably see one you really love.
Excellent. And well, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you for taking our call. And we look forward to seeing some of those amazing reefs as we get into the winter months.
Thanks, Danny, for having me. Have a great night.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
So thankful to have her part of our show tonight. It's different to have a different type of sponsor for our show, but I think what she's got is some really unique stuff to revolve around the fall of year, Christmas time, a gift, whatever it may be. Bip and Bop Race Shop or Market Shop, excuse me, Bip and Bop Market Shop. You got to find them on Facebook and place that order. They'll ship to you as well, so that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. We were talking about some of these events in our immediate area, Shay, and there's a couple of them that stand out. Obviously, the one at Port Royal, that's a big money race. 2 nights of sprints. Then you got the West Virginia Motor Speedway, 2 nights of late model racing. Potomac Speedway, you got 2 nights of small car nationals. And then you got Clinton County running a super late model event. Path Valley kind of wrapping up their season, somewhat of a regular show, if you will. Lincoln Speedway, we don't get to see the late models there. It's typically a sprint car track at Lincoln. And then on Sunday, kind of a unique deal on a Sunday, we're going to be able to see 410 sprints on that small track. So, there's something for everybody's flavor of racing in our immediate area, shy of the big block modifieds.
Indeed. So, actually, with Super Dirt Week actually taking place this week up in New York. So, obviously, next weekend, the big blocks are going to be coming down to Port Royal here next weekend for the 200 lapper. But, like you said, it just depends on kind of, what kind of racing fits your style. If you like the big half miles, we got them. You got Port Royal in them. If you like the tight bull rings, you got Lincoln, Trailways, and Path Valley. And what would you rate Potomac as?
That's considered a small bull ring in a sense. Not necessarily.
It's high banked.
It's high banked, but it's not really a bull ring. I'd say high banked.
A high banked dirt oval. There you go. You have Potomacs, and so of course, if you like, and again, you like the bigger half miles. You got West Virginia Motor Speedway as well. So
actually, West Virginia Motor Speedway, they consider it bigger than a half mile. So, that's why I say if you want to see speed, West Virginia Motor Speedway is the place to go to see speed because those guys, good grief, they get around there. I mean, crazy fast. I know one driver that's going to be there because he announced it the other night, Max Blair. He picked up a win, I believe, this past weekend as well. So, I anticipate him to be there. And one of his his car owner is one of our sponsors, Viper Risk Management Group. So a lot happening in our area.
Yes, indeed. And just out of curiosity, I've never been to West Virginia Speedway as of yet, but somebody actually told me that whenever you go down there, it's pretty much mandatory that when you're down there, the fans in the stands sing Country Roads. Is that correct?
I have not heard them sing that, but there are some uniqueness about that facility.
Okay.
There's no bleachers.
Really?
On the front stretch. Now, on the back stretch, there's a small set of bleachers on the back stretch, but on the front stretch, they actually marked it off, stair-stepped it to where you bring your lawn chair and you actually sit on the grass.
So it's something kind of like what Pennsboro used to be.
Similar.
Okay.
Very similar. But now, years back, up until the fire marshal said you can't do this anymore, people would build campfires right on the side of the hill. while they watched the race. And finally, the fire marshal said, "No, you can't do that anymore." But kind of some uniqueness about that. They did try to shrink the track up a little bit because they felt like it was too big. Didn't work, and then Cody stepped in and took over the facility, and he's put some money into it. He's been running mainly special events at West Virginia Motor Speedway, but I've had the opportunity to go out there a couple times, and every time I go, I always kind of pick up on something a little bit different. But looking forward to seeing the ULMS series and the Ironman late model series out there. Again, that's on Friday night, 5,000 to win, and on Saturday night, 15,000 to win. So if you want to make a road trip, maybe West Virginia Motor Speedway might be the place for you.
Indeed.
What else we got there on Facebook?
Just a bunch of people tuning in. We got the man Craig Klein who's watching us. Also got my buddy Billy Alderman, who's one of the crew members for Jason Covert, who's coming up a little bit later in the show.
We need to get Craig Klein on the show for one reason and one reason only.
Yes, we do.
For entertainment value. Because he told me a story that I wanted to laugh, but I also wanted to throw up. And it revolved around him and Nathan Durbrow.
I know exactly what story you're talking about.
Right, so you can imagine what that is. So we need to get him on the show one time just to tell that story.
Yes.
And make sure you're not eating anything while he tells the story, because it's funny, but I actually feel bad for what happened. But you can only imagine what happened between those two individuals. Who else we got there watching?
Yes, indeed. And real quickly, I will say though, I'm not sure who told the story better, if it was Craig Klein or Nathan Durbrow.
It was
when I heard the story originally, Nathan was the one that actually told it, and my gosh, he could tell a story, and he could for sure.
That's
so
right. Who else we got there on Facebook, Jay?
We got Billy Klein watching us, Chase Hardy, J.R. Moist,
excellent,
and Jeremy Ott.
Again, race fans, this segment has been brought to you by Creekside Auto Sales in Dover, Pennsylvania. If you're looking for a great pre-owned vehicle, you can also do rent-to-own. You can buy there, pay here, or you can buy it straight out. 717-467-5563, Dover, Pennsylvania, Creekside Auto Sales, and tell them Turn 5 sent you. Shay, we're going to be talking to two great guys tonight, Hudson O'Neal and Jason Covert. Hudson O'Neal, you had mentioned, qualified through the B main to make it into the feature. He ends up basically towards the tail end of the feature. I saw the highlights. He took the lead, and that was a big win for him. And I'm really looking forward to kind of picking his ear about how he's evolved his skills, because it just seems like he gets a little bit better and a little bit better, and now he's starting to pick off some of these big money races.
Indeed, and one of the races I will say that kind of, I think, in a way gets overlooked is the Pittsburgher 100. I mean, you think about it, that race has been around for 33 years. Look at the list of drivers who have won that race. You have Scott Bloomquist. You've got Hudson O'Neal's dad. Dom won it. Josh Richards has won it, just to name a few. Davey the Juice, Davey Johnson. So the list of people who've won that race is, just one of those that just makes you kind of take a step back and just go, holy cow. And so I'm curious to see, where this race would rank, amongst all of his other wins.
Jason Covert goes to Potomac Speedway, a track that he's won at numerous times, to win the Larry Hill Memorial event, 5,000 to win. Do want to give a shout out to All About Wraps, Bruce Kane, for helping put that together. But they had good fan attendance, a good car count, but Covert was the man to beat down there.
Indeed, and I guess it also helps, with the fact too of one, your car owner was a promoter down there for a long time, one of your car owners, and the other one raced down there for many, many years. And so, kind of to put all that together, it's kind of like, if you will, you take a look at like the 69K of Lance DeWeese and Donnie Kreis and all them. Those guys, they have a lot of experience around most of the tracks in central Pennsylvania. And then when you get those guys all together on one team, it's like the dream team. So in a way, it's kind of one of those deals where, for Jason, he goes down there, it's like almost kind of like I don't really want to say like a walk in the park, but you know what I mean.
I do want to give our thoughts and prayers go out to Fred Jones. Jason Miller, his car owner, Fred, which is also his father-in-law, had somewhat of an accident. It sounds like he's doing much better. Jason's been on our show before, and Fred's been a big supporter of what we do here on Turn 5. But it sounds like he is making some improvements, and just keep Fred in our thoughts and prayers as he goes through some healing process. But his daughter Jessica put some things out there on Facebook, and it's scary anytime that you have an injury or an illness like that. As I had mentioned, race fans, we're going to have Alan Saggy on the phone here shortly. He's got some really, really good arch items that is going to be coming up for auction this week. I do want to announce that we are planning on having a show every Tuesday night for the remainder of this month. Now, in the month of November and December, we are going to take a few weeks off because of the holidays and just some other obligations. And we want to give you a break, and we need a break as well. So we will do a show every Tuesday night until the end of this month, and then we're going to start taking some breaks in the month of November and December. We're going to continue getting out to these races and try to give you as much video and pictures and any updates that we can. Shay will be on the road, I'll be on the road, Alan and Corey will be, all of us will be on the road doing the best we can to cover our local racing and beyond, because we're going to be going to Charlotte and a few other tracks outside of our area. But we really appreciate you guys, and without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do, and without our great sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do this without having a subscription of some sort. So there is some cost involved with what we do here every Tuesday night.
Indeed, and also, Danny, yesterday, obviously, Facebook had crashed on the world, and so I actually did have a few people that were asking me, just kind of, in case of Facebook, were to go down again, where can they find us, and then also for the shows?
So we record this every Tuesday night, and it gets put over to Antietam Media Service for their TV network. And so because we record it, we have built a database this year. If for some reason Facebook crashes, we'll be able to load this up on our website, and you'll be able to see it through our website. And you can see the link, turn5turnaround.net, and you can go to our website and be able to see this if for some reason it crashes. We haven't loaded any of them up there yet, but we may start doing that. So that's good information to pass on to all of our fans. But hopefully that doesn't happen tonight.
Hopefully not at all. And I have to give a real quick shout out to the number 5 team of Levi Crowell and his crew guys. I actually hung out with them this past weekend at the Pittsburgher this past weekend. So I just want to say thank you to you guys, as well as a big thank you to Matt Miley and everyone with the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway for your hospitality this past weekend. So I just want to say thanks for having us out.
Excellent. Well, race fans, we're going to take our first commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to have Alan Saggy on the backside of this commercial break. And one more time, our segment sponsor for tonight has been Creekside Auto Sales. If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, Creekside Auto Sales in Dover, Pennsylvania. And we want to thank tonight's marketing partner, which is Bip and Bop Market Shop. Reefs for every occasion. Facebook.com, Bip and Bop Market Shop, and tell them Turn 5 sent you. Again, we appreciate y'all tuning in here on Dirt Track and Tuesday. Share this much you possibly can during this commercial break. When we come back, we'll have Alan Saggy on the phone.
At RBS Auto and Trailer Sales, your buying experience will be second to none. Our friendly staff will walk you through every mechanical part of your trailer before leaving the lot. Regardless of whether it's an enclosed trailer, a flatbed trailer, a gooseneck, or a dump trailer, we want to make sure that you leave with a smile on your face. RBS Auto and Trailer Sales. Sebco Village Mart, open 24/7, located in Marion, PA on Route 11. Get your gas, cold and warm food, drinks, and goodies at Sebco Village Mart.
DirtStation.com is a dirt track racing website containing full coverage races, highlight reels, and original short stories featuring drivers, tracks, and events going back nearly 80 years.
It is showtime at Williams Grove Speedway.
When folks in the community need to have their vehicle repaired, they think of Roy's Body Shop in Sykesville, Maryland. Since 1962, Roy's Body Shop has been providing a service that will meet or exceed your expectations. So the next time you need your vehicle repaired, think of Roy's Body Shop in Sykesville, Maryland.
Again, race fans, we appreciate you sticking with us here on Dirt Track and Tuesday. We're going to get Alan Sagi on the phone here in about 2 minutes. This segment is being brought to you by Loco Joe's Hobby. That is in Bunker Hill, West Virginia. October the 9th, fundraiser race with the drivers, okay? Go to facebook.com, Loco Joe's Speedway. October the 9th, driver and fundraiser race. They're going to be racing the RC cars. For more information, go to their Facebook page or give them a call, 304-229-8220, Loco Joe's, and tell them Turn 5 sent you. Also, we want to thank Bip and Bop Market Shop. Man, that's pretty cool stuff they got there with the reefs and everything. Show your support to one of our local businesses, Bip and Bop Race Shop. Race Shop. Bip and Bop Market Shop. I'm going to get it out right.
Every time you say race shop, you have to donate $1 to charity. How about that?
Well, we might have to do that. Bip and Bop Market Shop. Go to their Facebook page, and again, tell them Turn 5 sent you. Folks, we appreciate you tuning in here tonight. We got a long way to go here. And with that, let's see if we can get Alan Sagi to answer the phone.
We're calling the Don. Or the doctor.
Dr. Alan Sagi, please report to the emergency room. Watch him not answer.
Mr. Mudball, Danny Wilson.
Yeah, that was let's see, a 14-hour day that was challenging.
Well, you got your money's worth.
I did. I got my money's worth. It was a long day, but we managed.
There you go.
And
sometimes you just got to be tough, you know.
I don't know if I'm tough. I think I'm getting soft the older I get.
Hey, you're pretty tough.
How you been, my friend?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing this evening?
We're doing all right, man. Hey, I'm glad you're with us tonight. Man, there's a lot of racing. We were talking earlier about all the racing that's still going on, especially this weekend. There's a lot of good things that are happening in our area, our racing community this weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, and even on Sunday at Trailways. Where are you going to be hiding out this weekend, Al?
You know, it's a tough decision there. There's so much good stuff going on. It's hard to figure out which direction to go. But, of course, Port Royal has the World of Outlaws this weekend. Friday night, that's probably the go-to place for sure. And Saturday night, there is a lot of choices, you know, between Lincoln Speedway with the Super Late Model special event. Clinton County Speedway has a Super Late Model special. Port Royal back again with the World of Outlaws. You name it, there is a lot of choices going on. The Small Car Nationals are at Potomac Speedway over the weekend. It's there's a lot of choices for everybody.
Indeed, and obviously, there's no mud bogs that's taking place here this weekend. So I know
I
Danny
was going to ask Danny if there was a mud ball going on somewhere.
Well, he was down at one here, just down the road from his house this past weekend. But other than that, I mean, obviously, trying to change it up a little bit. Going from having the oval style racing over to, I guess what would you call that, like drag racing, whatever?
It's drag racing, basically.
Drag racing. So just trying to change it up there a little bit.
There you go. That's going to be a great show on Sunday at Trailway also. That'll be the only event running on Sunday. And the 410 sprint cars will really put on a great show on the small, tight confines of Trailway. So anybody who's a sprint car fan, that's a must-see event. You don't get to see them there often, once a year. So, Sunday is it.
There's a lot of good things, that are still to come this year. We still have racing at Port Royal Speedway. We got some racing down south as well. So this weekend is not the end all for all of our tracks. There's still stuff going to happen in our in our immediate area, Alan.
Valley Speedway Park has an event on Saturday.
Uh-oh.
Like you said, there's quite a bit going on.
Absolutely. Well,
we wish we could be everywhere.
That's right. Well, speaking of things that are going on, the Arts Club has some really good items this week.
Yeah, it seems like they've been doing that every week, Danny. That Auto Racing Club of Hagerstown, with their Doors and More racing memorabilia auction, has a couple good items this week from a couple of fast Mikes. First off, we have a Mike Luther, the autographed door. This come off the number 06 car, driven by the likable veteran driver out of Shermansdale, Pennsylvania. Mike is a 3-time point champion at the Port Royal Speedway in 2014, 2015, and 2017. And this door came off of his 2020 car and carries the logos of his sponsors, Kruba Chiropractic, LNS Transport, along with the World of Outlaws Series decal, and his big, bright purple number 06 on top of the yellow wrap. Mike is coming off a really good weekend. He finished 3rd and 5th in the pair of ULM sanctioned races at the King Speedway over the weekend. So, real nice piece there from a former champion driver and still a current front runner. So check that out. It goes up for bid this evening on the Auto Racing Club of Hagerstown Facebook page. They'll be going up at 9 o'clock with this, and also the second item we're going to tell you about. And the auction runs until next Tuesday at 8:30. The other fast Mike is Michael Altobelli, and this is a number 95 autographed door panel that also comes with one of his race team's hats and T-shirts. Michael has arguably been the most successful modified driver in our area over the past 5 years, and has also done extremely well traveling from his Saxton, Pennsylvania home to races in the Midwest and even Florida in the winter months. This bright multicolored door, which he raced in 2021, and undoubtedly has taken the victory lane probably more than once because he goes there quite often, carries the logos. Michael's sponsors Rick Steele Surveying, Hoosier Racing Tires by HTMA, Base Racing Fuel, Mullins Racing Engines, Penske Racing Shocks, and Turn 5 Turnaround. They even got in old Danny Wilson's pocket a little bit. Always somebody getting Danny's pocket. That's a good thing. Michael was well on his way to another point championship this season with the Mid-Atlantic Modified Series, which has just 2 races left in their season. So you're going to want to grab this piece of memorabilia from Michael Altobelli's stellar 2021 year. And he has dedicated the year to a former car owner. Well, actually, his present car owner, Dan Harding, and Michael are dedicating the season to the memory of Harding Motorsports founder Roy Harding, who they just lost last month. Great group of guys there with that 95 car. They run well, they run clean, and man, they're fast. They're tough.
That they are. Alan, as always, man, that stuff that they bring, to the Arch Club is incredible. And, a lot of the fans may not remember, but that money benefits the Injured Drivers Fund which is a huge benefit to all the race teams in our immediate area.
That's absolutely right, Danny. Arch gives back if any of their member drivers get injured in an accident on the speedway and are not able to work. Arch sends them a check to try to help them pay the bills and get over the hump a little bit until they're back on their feet and back up and running again.
Absolutely.
So, they do a lot of great things with Arch.
Well, Alan, something that you do an amazing job with is recognizing the people that built our sport. And we have 3 individuals that have passed on, but they were very instrumental in a lot of our local racing. And without further ado, we have some tributes.
All right, Danny, you're exactly right. We've lost 3 gentlemen here that we would like to recognize. First off, area pavement racing fans who attended races at the Old Dominion and Beltsville Speedways will undoubtedly remember a good-looking number 66 Ford running at or near the front of the pack for many years. We recently lost the owner of these cars, Mr. Dave Cray of Silver Spring, Maryland. Through his Dave Cray drywall business, Mr. Cray fielded some of the best-looking and best-running cars on the local pavement tracks from the mid-'60s through the end of the '80s. Always a Ford Motor Company loyalist, Dave Cray owned nothing but the Blue Oval brand race cars. He had Ford Fairlanes, Ford Starliners, Mercury Cyclones, Mercury Comets, Mercury Cougars, Ford Torinos, Ford Thunderbirds, and even a Ford Focus body car. And his cars were always fan favorites over the years, giving the Ford faithful in the grandstands a competitive entry to Route 4. Most of the time, one of the very few and sometimes even the only Ford on the track during those years. Employing the driving services of such top-name pilots as Glenn Guthrie, Dickie Boswell, Bob Wilcher, Jimmy Mayers, Eddie Pettyjohn, and Bobby Glass, among others, Dave Cray's number 66 cars won over 100 races on the asphalt speedways. Mr. Cray even raced his cars on dirt occasionally, showing his pavement car to Hagerstown for sprint car star Johnny Grum to drive in the early 70s, and to the Georgetown Speedway, where his regular driver, Glenn Guthrie, was able to beat the locals and win on the clay surface with an asphalt car. All they did was change the tires on it. Amazing. Dave Cray will go down in history as one of the most successful and influential car owners in East Coast stock car racing history. Late model racers in the central Pennsylvania area lost a familiar smiling face in their pit areas with the passing of Mr. Terry Gingrich of York Haven, Pennsylvania. Terry was the father of limited late model drivers Corey Gingrich and Terry Gingrich Jr. He was the biggest fan and supporter of both of his sons' racing and could always be found in the pits with them, helping on the cars anytime they were at the track. Terry was also a dedicated race fan and often traveled to the tracks to spectate with his sons on nights that they weren't racing. He loved racing, and it showed on his face, as I'd never once seen Terry at a speedway that he wasn't smiling and happy to be there. Anytime he was at a track that I was fortunate enough to win at on any given night, Terry was always one of the first to come to our pit and congratulate me, something I will always appreciate and will remember him for. Terry lost his wife, Arline, just a few months ago over the winter, so it's been an extremely tough year for the Gingrich family, and we send them our condolences and best wishes. Terry Gingrich was 69 years old. And then finally, we were saddened to learn this morning about the overnight passing of Hall of Fame driver Dickie Boswell, formerly of Berwyn Heights, Maryland, and in recent years residing in Lake Norman, North Carolina. Dickie Boswell started his racing career on dirt, first competing at the Old Dorsey Speedway in the late 60s. But he went on to become a legend on the area pavement tracks of the Beltsville Speedway and Old Dominion, winning races and championships on the 2 local pavement tracks from the early 70s into the 2000s. Boswell also traveled to and raced successfully at NASCAR-sanctioned tracks all over the East Coast, including Daytona, Charlotte, Martinsville, Langley, Southside, Hickory, the Richmond Fairgrounds, Dover, Tri-County, Rockingham, South Boston, and even out west to Milwaukee, and many others besides. Dickie Boswell did a lot of racing. Among Boswell's many accomplishments in racing, which included track championships at Beltsville and Old Dominion, and winning each track's biggest marquee race, the National Bow Beer 200 Lapper at Beltsville and the prestigious McDonald's 200 at Old Dominion. The thing he was the most proud about was his family and especially the racing career of his son Richard Boswell. Richard was also a successful driver for many years on the local tracks and on asphalt short tracks traveling series. He went on to work for Dale Earnhardt Jr. as first a driver and then a crew chief at Junior Motorsports. And today he works for Tony Stewart as the Xfinity Series crew chief of Stewart-Haas Racing. That made his father very proud. Dickie Boswell was as good off the track as he was on it. I'd like to tell you a little story. Back in 1980, Dickie ran into my father, Frank Saggy, at the Daytona Diner in Daytona Beach, Florida. They were good friends. My father was the announcer at the Beltsville Speedway and got to know Dickie. So Dickie would always say, "Hey, man." When he run into somebody that was a friend of his lingo was, "Hey, man." And he come up to my father and said, "Hey, man, we're having a Daytona 500 pool." This was actually the morning of the 1980 Daytona 500. And it was the year Buddy Baker had a car that was about 5 miles an hour faster than everybody, out-qualified everybody, and really had them covered. He had everybody scratching their head. He had an Oldsmobile body, and everybody else was running something a little different. Well, anyway, Dickie asked my dad if he wanted to get in the pool with him, and Dad said, "Sure. How much is it?" And I think it was $10. It was 20 of them going to be in the pool, $200 winner take all. And Dad said, "Sure, here's my, I'll take Buddy Baker. I'll take the 28 car." And Dickie said, "Oh, no, it doesn't work that way." He said, "You got to draw out of this hat. Everybody draws a number," which my dad was kidding around. He knew that. So he reached in, and lo and behold, he drew the number 28 car. And what kind of luck was that, huh?
Wow.
And Buddy Baker went on to win the race that day. I believe he lapped the field. He really skunked them. And but my dad didn't see Dickie Boswell for a year. By that time, Beltsville Speedway had been closed, and their paths just didn't cross. Well, the following year, my dad always went to Daytona Diner to eat in the mornings before going to the racetrack. And he was down there, and lo and behold, in walks Dickie Boswell. And he said, "Hey, man, I got something for you." And he reached in his pocket, in his wallet. Here he had $200 folded up. And he had been saving that for my father for whenever he would run into him. And talk about an honest guy. You know, he was as good off the track as he was on it. That was just his way. My father often told that story to people, and I know that really impressed him that someone was that honest, because he forgot about it. You know, it just, with everything you do in life, he had just forgotten all about it. But another Dickie Boswell story, he's credited with saving the life of a fellow driver when the driver was in a bad wreck at the Old Dominion Speedway. Dickie stopped on the track, got out of his car, and rushed over to reach into a fire to free the injured driver, Mark D. Reptingi. He was in a badly burning race car, and it was caused by a broken tool line on the fuel cell. And Dickie Boswell is credited with saving him from further injury and very possibly saving his life. Dickie Boswell was a hero that night, and he was a hero on many other nights when he went to Victory Lane. He will forever be remembered as a hero to many. A couple of good friends of mine, late model driver Roy Deese Jr. and former driver and present owner of AMC Racing Engines, Nick Pappas, both often talked about Dickie Boswell fondly and told stories about it. Roy's dad, Roy Deese Sr., against Dickie, and Roy was a kid, no Dickie, when he actually, Nick Pappas actually worked on Dickie Boswell's pit crew at one time. I've never asked either Roy or Nick, but I'm willing to bet if I asked either one of them who their heroes were, Dickie Boswell would be right at the top of the list. Not many people ever had as much fun or got as much out of life as Dickie Boswell. He was 78 years old.
Alan, as always, you do a great job with those tributes, and we appreciate the history lesson. A lot of the stuff you bring up, I had no idea how involved these people were in our sport, and clearly there's a reason why we do these tributes. And thank you, Alan, for all the effort that you put in behind the scenes to make that happen. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Alan, we got about 2 more minutes here. What else do you got for us?
Well, we'd also like to recognize former car owners Mark and Fran Wright of Upperville, Virginia. They ran their last race a couple weeks ago. The Wrights have decided to get out of racing after owning cars for the past 22 years. They still enjoy racing and plan to continue to attend as spectators, but they're taking a step back to free up some time to spend their vacation home in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The Wrights have fielded the number 37F late models driven by Wes and Denny Bonebrake for the past 16 years. First for Denny for 9 years, followed by Wes for the past 7 seasons after Denny's retirement from driving. They had a real neat relationship there with the Bonebrakes, long-standing race team there. Very impressive. In fact, during the 22 years for the Wrights in racing, they employed just 4 full-time drivers, starting with close family friend Blaine Swank, and then top Western Pennsylvania driver Scott Rose drove their car for a couple seasons until they hooked up with the Bonebrakes. Kind of a neat story. Fran and Mark went to the races on their first date, and they also went on the night of their wedding. And they were fans of Denny Bonebrake, and they never dreamed that someday he'd be driving their race car. Mark always wanted to have a car, and then the timing just kind of seemed right. And I know when Fran tells me, Mark run the idea by her, let's ask Denny to drive. She said, there's no way he'll drive for us. And he said, well, I'm going to ask him anyway. And sure enough, Denny was glad to drive for him. And I'm sure the Bonebrakes have always thought that was one of their best decisions. They're very good friends with the Wrights, who had a very good car for many years. I drove their car on 3 or 4 occasions when Denny wasn't able to be there. I guess I probably ruined a perfect record for him because everybody else who ever drove their car won in it. I'm the only guy that didn't win. We ran good a couple times, but we didn't win. But they're great people. They will be missed around the racetrack. Wes and Denny Bonebrake have purchased the number 37F car that they ran very successfully this year together. And the Bonebrakes will continue to race the car next season with their number 5 on it.
Excellent. Well, Alan, as always, brother, man, we just appreciate everything you do for us behind the scenes. We got 30 seconds here, Alan. Anything else for the fans real quick?
Well, Carson Macedo won Saturday night's Williams Grove National Open, and he got paid $75,000 for winning the event. Van May won the National Open in 1977 when it was a 150-lap race, and he got paid $3,000. Doing the math, this year's National Open paid 81.25 times more per lap than what that race paid at that time. At this rate, and for 150 laps around Williams Grove Speedway, Van May would have gotten over $250,000 for his win. How about that?
Wow, that's incredible. That's
the Grove
incredible.
is really anteed up there. They really stepped it up and paid a great purse there. And they had a real good race. They had a lead change there late in the race. Logan Schuhart was leading, and I know a lot of the local people were rooting for Logan, but Carson Macedo really got up on the wheel and made a heck of a pass. And Sheldon Hodenshaw was right there on him, too. And he was in the mix with a shot to win, too. So the fans that attended that race saw a great one.
Excellent. Well, Alan, we appreciate you, brother, and hopefully we'll see you at a track this weekend. And thank you so much for everything, brother.
All right, Danny, you guys have a good show, and I'm going to sit back and enjoy your interviews.
Excellent. Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it, brother.
All right, take care.
All right, Alan Sackey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, one more time, we want to thank Loco Joe's don't forget, this weekend, October the 9th, driver and fundraiser race, facebook.com, Loco Joe Speedway, or give them a call, 304-229-8220 to get more information. Loco Joe's, Bunker Hill, West Virginia is where it's at this weekend. If you're into the RC race cars, October the 9th, driver and fundraiser race, 304-229-8220 or facebook.com, Loco Joe's Speedway. Shay, we got a big interview coming up here on the backside of this commercial. Fans are in for a treat.
Yes, indeed. Be sure to share this one, guys, because on the other side of this commercial break, we have the new deal. Hudson O'Neal joining us.
Booze Brothers Performance, your one-stop shop for all your racing needs, regardless of whether it's on the oval track or the drag strip or even your hot rod. Booze Brothers Performance, they have you covered. Located just south of Chambersburg, Pennsylvania in Marion, PA. Booze Brothers Performance. Before you get behind the wheel of your race car, think about your safety. It should be number one. Hyatt Racing Products, specializing in your safety, with a full line of helmets, head and neck restraint systems, fire suits, gloves, and so much more. Located in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Give them a call today at 301-992-8367. Hyatt Racing Products. At Roy's Body Shop, no job is too big or too small. Our friendly staff will provide you with a free estimate, and our quality of service will meet or exceed your expectations. We also work with several insurance companies to ensure that you will be back on the road. Roy's Body Shop in Sykesville, Maryland. Give us a call today, 410-795-0912. RBS Auto and Trailer Sales, with locations in Sykesville, Maryland and McHenry, Maryland, carrying a full line of flatbed trailers, enclosed trailers, small utility trailers, and dump beds. And if you have something heavy, we got you covered there as well. RBS Auto and Trailer Sales, with locations in McHenry, Maryland and Sykesville, Maryland. Give us a call today. RBS Auto and Trailer Sales. Does the thought of painting your home or business stress you out to the point that you want to pull your hair out? Give Jimmy McFarland Custom Painting and Wall Coverings a call today. Put your mind at ease, as they will enhance the beauty of your home and business. Located in Winchester, Virginia, Jimmy McFarland Custom Painting and Wall Coverings, 540-327-5050.
DirtStation.com is a dirt track racing website containing full coverage races, highlight reels, and original short stories featuring drivers, tracks, and events going back nearly 80 years.
It is showtime at Williams Grove Speedway.
Well, race fans, we appreciate you tuning in tonight here on Dirt Track and Tuesday as we have the white flag out for, well, I should say
White flag.
cross flags. Cross flags. Should be cross flags. Can't be white flag yet. It's got to be cross flag. I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't know what the heck's wrong with me.
You need to go back. I tell you what, you need to go to Hagerstown Speedway next year, and you need to sit up in the flag stand with
And watch
Calvin
what they do.
Davis
Watch
and
what they
watch
do.
Calvin Davis. He will coach you on it.
Hey, this segment's being brought to you by Racing to Reunite. Thomas, if you're watching, we appreciate everything you do. This young man, Quentin, has been missing. He's from the Winchester, Virginia area. If you know this gentleman, if you know where he's at, please call 911. Racing to Reunite is this segment's sponsor. Let's see if we get Hudson to answer the phone. He has not responded, so I'm a little concerned about him as to whether or not he's going to be with us.
That's a first.
Oh, that's not good. That never happens.
Yeah.
Oh, that is not good.
Busy signal, yeah.
No, that's no good. We'll try one more time here, and then we'll give him a few more minutes. Hopefully he'll answer. No, it's not happening. You did give me the right number, right?
Yep. Yes, you did.
Let me double check here. Make sure we have the right number. We apologize because normally our people that we're interviewing, they do confirm. And Shay, double check that to make sure that's the number that you gave me. Normally they confirm. He did not confirm, so that does concern me.
I did text him earlier, and just to remind him, and so obviously there might be some. Turn back this way.
Sorry.
That's fine. Yep, that is correct. Actually, no, that's the wrong number.
All right, hold on, race fans. We're going to get this right. We apologize.
Danny, real quickly, can you put the Racing to Reunite screen back up there?
Sure.
Mute our mics if you don't mind.
Again, we apologize, race fans. Just having a minor technical difficulty here. This has happened before, so nothing that we can't handle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he will answer since we have the right number now.
Hello.
Hudson O'Neal, Danny Wilson here. We're live on Dirt Track and Tuesday. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Yes, sir. How about doing good? How about yourself?
Man, we're doing outstanding since we got you on the phone. I actually dialed the wrong number, so now I know why you didn't answer the first time.
That's right.
It happens, man. We can't be perfect all the time, right?
That's right. I hear you.
Well, you were perfect this past weekend at Pittsburgh. You put on a heck of a show. You had to qualify through the B main. When you have a situation like that, Hudson, where you have to qualify through the B main, do you approach the event differently because, hey, I got to get up on the wheel and race hard, or hey, I got 100 laps, I might be able to make my way up through the front with no issues? What is your mindset at that point, knowing, hey, I just qualified through the B main?
Well, it's definitely different. Usually when you end up in a B main, that usually means you're not real good, or maybe you just had problems. But going back to Saturday, we just weren't very good. We didn't qualify good, didn't heat race good. And finally, for the feature, we pulled together a little bit and got pretty good. And then we were just lucky, kind of. Really, we weren't amazing in that feature on Saturday until the fuel break. And then once we got that fuel break, me and my guys were able to just talk a little bit about like kind of what the race car was doing and that I wasn't as competitive as I needed to be, and we were able to come in and make a pit stop and make some adjustments and get better, and it just really prevailed us for the end of the race, and luckily the racetrack raced good enough where we could drive from the back and get up to the front. So I don't know, coming from a B main, it's never fun. It's not the most ideal situation, but sometimes you can make it work.
Hudson, I've had the opportunity this year to travel with the Lucas Oil Series a good bit, filming for Flow Racing and Dirt on Dirt, and I've watched you really develop your skills, and it just seems like you have a little bit of extra boost this year. Do you feel that in the way that you're driving, where you have a little bit more confidence? Because it does seem like you're driving at another level this year. Is it the car, is it you, or is it a combination of everything?
I think it's a combination of everything. I think a lot of it, I think a lot of it's the team. I have a great team behind me and great guys, that I work with every single day. And then a lot of it has to do with me just maturing behind the wheel too. I've grown a lot as a driver the last couple of years, and I've just learned what not to do more so than what to do, just to be more patient in situations. And I've learned, to win, to finish first, you must finish, So, I think just it's a combination of a lot of things. We've had a great race car, but none of that's possible without having a great team behind you to set you up for success.
Hudson, the guy that put this interview together is in the studio, and I think you know him pretty well. That Honor Rascal, Shay Judy, he's got a question or two for you tonight, Hudson.
Hey, yes, sir.
Hey, but first off, congrats on your win this past weekend. And I got to ask you this: the Pittsburgher 100 is one of the most prestigious races out in Western Pennsylvania, and you look at the list of drivers of people who have won that race. Your dad's won it in the past. Scott Bloomquist, Josh Richards, numerous other people. I know, obviously, you still want to win out at Eldora, but I was curious, where does the Pittsburgher 100 rank on your list as career achievements?
No, it's really cool, and it ranks right up there with all the best of them. Anytime that you can win a crown jewel event, especially one that's it's got as much history as Pittsburgh has, it's just unbelievable. To be able to just have the opportunity to win one is something in itself, and you can't really pick one out that's more special than the other, but they're all important. Anytime you can win a big race like that, win a Lucas Oil race at that, it seems like it's getting harder and harder to do. So it's really cool to be able to win races like that, and like I say, especially one like the Pittsburgher.
Indeed, and with the Lucas Oil Series, you guys pretty much go all across the country, and you're racing on the high banked. You're also racing on tight little bull rings as well as the big half miles. What type of racetrack suits you?
To be honest with you, I kind of like the bull rings. I really, if you want me to be honest with you, I like any racetrack that races good, and I think there's a lot of people that would say that, but. I really like the bull rings. I enjoy going to like a place like Macon, Illinois. That's just real get up on the wheel but I also enjoy going to some of the bigger racetracks. I enjoy going to Knoxville. I enjoy going to Port Royal. I enjoy all those places. And but most importantly, we like any place that races good and puts on a good show.
As we get older, we change the way that we approach things, and you had alluded to that a few minutes ago, but things have changed a little bit with your dad. He's not racing anymore. What is that relationship like now that he's not necessarily a driver? He's more of a support person for your race team. How has that relationship evolved into what it is today?
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot more, a lot less bearing, I guess is the word to say. My dad was always really, really hard on me whenever we raced together. Mostly because A, he's seen all the mistakes I made, and B, he just wanted me to run good, and whenever he was there all the time, he was a lot more critical, and he was a lot harder on me and to push me to do the right things, and now he's not there all the time, and so it's kind of grown into more of just advice, just trying to push me in the right direction and to do the right things on the racetrack, but as well off the racetrack. He's always told me that being a good person will take you farther in life than being good at what you do. And he reminds me of that all the time. So it's kind of went from a career standpoint, him pushing me to be better at my craft, and then now it's kind of pushing me to be better, as a man and all around.
For you guys that travel, you're with that same group of people all the time. You can get burnt out on racing. You can get burnt out on being around your crew members. You need to have time away. I was on your Facebook page earlier today, and it appears that you are an outdoor enthusiast. You like to get out and do a little bit of hunting. I seen some pictures of some turkeys that you had harvested. Is that your getaway from racing from time to time, is getting outdoors?
Yeah, most definitely. I really enjoy really anything to do outdoors. I've kind of gotten into the hunting a lot more over the last 3 or 4 years. I've just met some really good people, and my girlfriend's dad has been, he's quite the hunter, and I've really just grown to love it, through him and things. And then I bought a bass boat this year, so I've been doing some fishing and things like that. Since I'm living in Tennessee, the fishing is really good, here in Tennessee. So, but yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. I love the outdoors. I love everything to do with it. And so the World Finals is coming, in the beginning of November, and we're not going to go. And the sole reason is I'm going home to Indiana to hunt. So,
Excellent.
But it all comes around. you hit a lot of spots with that one statement. It has to do with getting burnout, and we're not getting burnout, but you can get burnout in this sport really, really easy. I mean, I don't know how many times we've raced, but I bet at the end of the year we're going to have raced probably 75 times, and that's a lot of races. I mean, that's a lot of races, and that's hard on a driver. It's hard on a crew, hard on an owner. And not that we're all not willing to do it, because if we weren't, we wouldn't have done that many races. But here at the end of the year, these guys want some time off. They want to go and spend Thanksgiving with their families, Christmas with their families. They might want to go on vacation, because the winter is our off season, And so they want to do things. I want to go do things. I want to go hunt. I want to, I want to go on vacation with my family around Christmas time. I want to do all those things. So, my getaway is hunting, and their getaway might be something different. So, but yeah, it's very easy to get burnt out, and if you're not careful and don't take the time to do things outside of racing that you enjoy, you'll regret it, down the road.
Yes, indeed. I want to go back in time, back a couple years ago, back to your early years when you had just joined the Lucas Oil Dirt Series. Was there any drivers in particular that you were kind of looked to as mentors, but also to kind of get advice on, depending on what racetracks that you were going to?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't really have that guy, and I think that the reason why I didn't have that guy was because I had my dad. I had my dad to answer those kind of questions, and and then his team was very hands-on in my program as well. Growing up, racing the Lucas Oil Series, they were just always right there for me. So I think if I didn't have my dad, I would have grown to have that different role model outside of him. Because I would have had to be able to kind of learn the things that I learned, and I guess you can call it fortunate. I'm very, very fortunate that I had my dad through a lot of those, because, it gave me a lot more insight than I would have maybe, trying to approach somebody else and grow in a relationship.
We have the Lucas Oil Series and the World of Outlaws Series apparently working together behind the scenes to write up some new rules, or not necessarily new rules, but at least get semi-consistent with some of their rules. What do you know about this? As a race team, it sounds like this is good from what I'm hearing, because it can save money. You don't have to worry about your deck heights as much, because if one does it one way, hopefully the other series does it the same way. Is that kind of some of the stuff that you're hearing from your end?
Yeah, it's no secret that Lucas Oil and the World of Outlaws have had a rocky relationship in the past, and I'm sure it's been good at times, but it's mostly been rocky. And I think all that just comes from competitiveness. I don't think it's one's better than the other, or one's better ran or anything like that. I think it's just competitiveness. They want to be the best, and through that has came maybe a little bit of, well, them saying, well, our sanctioning body has better rules than these. So whenever they change a rule, they're not worried about how it affects the other series. And I think now recently, and I think a lot of it came with the addition of Steve Francis. I think Steve Francis, and, it takes a lot from Casey Schumann as well, on the World of Outlaws side, and Kenny Canada. I think now everybody's kind of getting to realize that, okay, well, we all need to work together, because we can all improve dirt late model racing as a whole. And if we can have one car that can race with the World of Outlaw Series and then go to the Lucas Oil Series and not have to change a single thing and unload and be the same race car and not have to move the body or anything like that, or change the deck height and change the droop rule that World of Outlaws has, and I don't know that Lucas is heading that way or what that is, but the more that we can get similar, the better it's going to be for all the racers, and the less headache it's going to be for everybody.
Absolutely.
Hey, Hudson, here just in a matter of just a few weeks, the Dirt Track World Championship is going to be coming up here up at the Portsmouth Speedway, and I'm just curious, what is it going to take to put the number 71 Lazy Days RVs number 71 in victory lane at the end of 100 laps?
a lot of change. Portsmouth has never been my real strong point. I won a race there at the end of last year, and I'm still trying to figure out how I did it because every time I've been back before that and since then, I've never been any good. So I don't know necessarily what I missed. I think we've got a better idea this time around because I think we've kind of stored our energy towards Portsmouth, and I've spent a lot of time going over just notes and things that I've kind of did then and I've been doing this year and like what's kind of got me better at those kinds of places and stuff like that. So I think I have a game plan going back and a game plan of maybe where I need my race car to be. And just that, I don't know. It's just going to take a lot. I think it's plenty doable, and I think we have the race car, and I think we got everything to do it. Now we just kind of got to go put the plan in motion. I think that we have as good a shot as anybody. I think that we have a good game plan. 100 laps is a long time. Anything can happen around that place. So. We need to run good to keep up the points here, and hopefully we can finish the year out second in points and maybe win that Crown Jewel Cup. That's kind of been on our minds too. We're leading it going into Portsmouth, so as long as everything goes good, hopefully we can come out of there with a couple extra hours.
Well, clearly it sounds like you're happy with what you've accomplished. Obviously, you want to be the points champion. It looks like that's not going to happen. There's too much of a difference there for the most part. But when you look at the overall bigger picture of 2021, Hudson O'Neal and your team has had a great year.
Yeah, we can't complain. I mean, everything's been great. We've had good luck probably when we shouldn't. We've had good breaks probably when we shouldn't. We've won a lot of races that we probably shouldn't have, and it's been a great year, and it's all been done with an amazing team, amazing ownership, just a whole program, all the way from the concrete we walk on at the shop to the time we close our doors at the racetrack. It's awesome, and the atmosphere is really good, and we've ran 75 races up and down the road this year with a brand new team, and I can't remember one time where all of us ever got frustrated with one another. So, that's just really, really rare to find, and there's no animosity between anybody, and it's just been great, and I can't stress that enough. Everybody's in this for the other one. If one guy's down, somebody else picks up the slack, and it's just a great team effort.
Hudson, I want to give you 2 minutes here to thank all those great people that put you on that track every week.
Well, first of all, I got to start with my crew: Eric, Mason, Trevor, Tom Buckingham, Roger Sellers, Bobby Wells. Just everybody that does something behind the scenes. And we have some guys at the shop that never even hardly see the racetrack, but they're there once or twice a week to help, to do whatever they can, and those are the people that make a lot of it worth it, and just the friendships that you grow throughout the whole process, and we couldn't do without all the people on the race car: Lazy Days RV, O'Neal Salvage and Recycling, WR1 Sim Chassis, Luke Sewell Racing Products, VP Racing Fuels, Penske Racing Shocks, 2150 Enterprises, Dynamic Drivelines, FK Rod Ends, Simpson, Integra Racing Shocks, Smoky Mountain Speedway, Dynamic Drivelines, Headers, Swift Springs, Winners Rear End Performance Bodies, Tarpey Trucking, Stanley Best. It's just we've really grown and gotten to a good point, with this team, and everybody's committed to come back next year, and we're going to have the exact same team, exact same race cars, everything, and I think that hopefully we can continue to grow upon what we've started this year, and I'm just really looking forward to it.
Hudson, we'll see you Friday night at Smoky Mountain Speedway, and we appreciate you taking time to be with us here on Dirt Track and Tuesday. Thank you so much, Hudson.
All right. Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. It was an honor.
Excellent. Hudson O'Neal, ladies and gentlemen, taking time to be with us here on Dirt Track and Tuesday. Great young man. One more time, the Racing to Reunite was this segment sponsor. If you know this gentleman, Caleb, we need to find him. He's from the Winchester, Virginia area. Racing to Reunite. Thomas, thank you for putting this together for this segment sponsor. But, we need to find this Quentin. I'm sorry. We need to find Quentin from the Winchester, Virginia area. He's been missing for quite some time now. Also, we want to thank Bip and Bop Market Shop for being tonight's business partner of the week. We appreciate them being a part of our show tonight. Race fans, we're going to have Jason Covert on the backside of this commercial.
Antietam Media Services has been helping tell our county's story for over 3 decades by capturing the people and events that make us unique. The best way to enjoy our local programming is by tuning in to WCL-TV channels 806 and 6, or download the WCL-TV on the Go app for your mobile device and watch many of our archived events like the Mummers Parade, Showcase of Bands, high school sports, and much more. More than ever, Antietam Media Services and our programming is here for you on all of your devices.
If you're looking for insurance, look no further than Viper Risk Management Group. Founded in 2010 and has grown into a multi-state insurance and risk management firm centrally located in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Since the company's inception, which started with just 4 states of authority, the company has grown to where they're doing business in 19 states across the country. So whether it's a personal item that you own, health or life insurance, or even retirement, you owe it to yourself to call Sean and Lisa Martin from Viper Risk Management Group. You can also find them online, Viper Risk Management Group.
From time to time here at RBS Auto and Trailer Sales, people will stop in and ask, what type of trailers do you carry? Well, we like to think that we carry everything you need, regardless of whether it's heavy duty or light duty, cargo trailers or flatbed trailers, or whatever you may need. RBS Auto and Trailer Sales, with locations in McHenry, Maryland and Sykesville, Maryland. Give us a call today. Regardless of whether it's a small dent, a medium-sized dent, or even those large dents, Roy's Body Shop, we have you covered. From start to finish, our team is up to date on all the technology, paints, and applications to give you a finish that is second to none. Roy's Body Shop in Sykesville, Maryland.
DirtStation.com is a dirt track racing website containing full coverage races, highlight reels, and original short stories featuring drivers, tracks, and events going back nearly 80 years.
It is showtime at Williams Grove Speedway.
Sebco Village Mart, open 24/7, located in Marion, PA on Route 11. Get your gas, cold and warm food, drinks, and goodies at Sebco Village Mart.
Yeah. I got the right number for Jason Covert, all right?
Okay, just making sure.
You know what I am hungry for? Some Red Devil barbecue.
Yes, me too.
All right. I know they will be at Bedford Speedway on October the 16th, so you got 2 weeks to get prepped for this, all right? Make sure your stomach's nice and empty before you go to the Bedford Speedway on the 16th, 22nd, and 23rd.
And I will say, if you guys are looking for a certain item or items on their list, everything is good. My personal favorite is the brisket sandwich. with the applesauce and smoking sauce on it. And also their Krabby Fries are extremely good. So if you guys are coming from the state of Maryland, you guys like Old Bay seasoning, well, guess what? It's got Old Bay on those fries, and they are good. Now you got me hungry now.
All right. Let's get Jason Coven on the phone. Ooh, that's a little loud. Blow my eardrums out.
Hello.
Jason Covert, we're live on Dirt Tracking Tuesday. How you doing, my friend?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. You ought to be doing really good. You had a really good run this weekend at Potomac Speedway.
Yeah, we're very pleased. It was we unloaded good, and the way the sport's gone, the last say 5 years, if you can unload good and then not screw it up, if you don't get over anxious, we tend to, everybody does it, but we were able to tweak on a little bit and just make it better all night. So it was a good night. Fast time, won our heat, and we got the lead there on the 7th lap, and we were pretty good from there on.
You kind of mentioned something there. You got to be good out the gate, and that is so true, because if you don't qualify good, especially on a race where it's anywhere from 20 to even 50 laps, depending on the size of the track, you need to be up front because these cars are so equal now.
Yeah, it's part of the evolution of the sport. That's why it's super late models. Horsepower, technology, everything. We worked on it. I talked to Tom and Pete last week for about an hour, and we had made some changes because we weren't, the last couple of times at Potomac, we weren't where I wanted to be, and we were able to do some things different. We kind of went the way we were at Lincoln with the 43A and made some changes, and it really, really worked out well. We got our car to, I call it digging. It was digging real hard, and if we unloaded good, so that made a big difference. And we got out front, and air is so huge even there, and it's not just air. And I've talked to Shay about this too. It's not just air; it's the dirt under your tires. So you get behind somebody to, like, say, more of a dirty place, sandy place. It's not so much air as you're running in that guy's dust, and it really makes it difficult. It's not just the air on the nose or the deck. So we were able to get. We did fall back a little bit, but once my tires got going, I felt like, even before the feature started there, I felt like we were going to be good. Once I got rolling and the track got cleaned up a little bit, and it actually came right to what I wanted, and then I could go and hustle like I wanted to.
Jason, you mentioned air, and I hear you guys talk a lot about this. So let's say, and I'm going to try to get you to explain it to the fans so they understand it. Let's say you got the lead, obviously you got clear air, but then all of a sudden you lose the lead and you get behind someone. What is the significant difference? How do you feel that, and what do you feel when you get behind someone into that dirty air?
I'll give you a better example. So we're leading the other night, and I come up to 2-lap cars. Even though they're, let's say, a little bit slower, they're dust. There's 2 cars, they're about too wide, maybe not quite too wide, so they're in their dust. Then they're making a hole in the air. With the way our bodies are built, we make these holes. What happens is the car actually feels like it comes up, like you lose load on all 4 tires. If you've ever been on the highway and like get up behind a tractor and trailer, your car kind of gets light in the steering wheel. Well, that's what happens. It feels like you get light, and then you hit a wall of bad air. So you can't steer quite as good. Your car's up out of the racetrack. Now you're trying to find a way around them. Now you got to go to probably a different part of the racetrack that may not be quite as clean. So now it compounds the issue. So it's honestly like being up behind not 1 tractor and trailer, but 2. And you kind of get where you're like, floating around behind them. That's really the best way to describe it.
Interesting. And that might be the best way somebody's ever explained that on the show, because I've asked that before, and using the analogy of actually being on the interstate behind a tractor and trailer explains it very, very well. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jason.
No, I was going to say, put your hand out the window when you're not by yourself. Put your hand out the window behind a truck when you're right behind them. You can feel that. There's a major difference.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. You had said something in Victory Lane at Port Royal Speedway that has really made me think differently about Port Royal Speedway. Port Royal Speedway had always been known as a sprint car track. However, the last couple years, late models has really made a stamp on that facility. That facility now is kind of like our Eldora, but in our backyard in a sense. But I really admire you by saying that in Victory Lane because they have really stepped up the super late model program at Port Royal Speedway.
Yeah, I went to Port Royal from when I was 3 till I was 16. I missed one race in those 14 years. I was sick one night, missed it, and it was the night Keith Kaufman and Doug Wolfgang had at it side by side, and I always regret that, because I was sick, and I don't usually miss races on Saturday nights with my dad, but I had gotten sick and I couldn't go. And I am proud to say Port Royal is where I went now. For a long time, I was not proud. The track was, a tire eater. It was one lane, but they have worked on that facility. It's second to none in the United States. The late model racing there is fantastic. If your car is good, no one can hold you up. You can go where you need to go the way we race our cars, even though we talk about the air and everything. The track, when it's prepared correctly, which is a lot of the time, and they take a lot of pride in their track prep, you can race all over it. The reason I said what I said with late models, they pay $3,000 weekly on a regular show. They're getting 35 cars. They bring the Lucas guys in for, 10, 15, and 30. The Outlaws were there for 2 nights, I think, for 10 and 15. And it's 50 cars or 45 cars. Well, if out of 45 cars, how many of them good? 45. There's no slack anymore. None. There is no slack. So it is it's a go-to place now for late models. It's not just, we're going to go there. It's actually a event. It's a must go to.
Absolutely.
For those races. And that makes, like I said, I'm super proud that place was an hour from where I grew up.
Jason, we got Shay Judy in the house. He's got a question for you.
All right, Shay.
Hey, Jason. First off, congrats on your win at Potomac this past weekend. One of the things that a lot of the race fans will notice is that when racetracks release their schedules, for example, like Hagerstown, Potomac, so on and so forth, they notice that there's a lot less super late model races there that's on their card. I mean, we might see, 5 to 6 races. And do you think that maybe the super late model shows at some of these racetracks are going by the away side? And do you think maybe it could be saved? And if it could be saved, what would you recommend doing it? How to do it?
Well, I think Hagerstown we'll just talk about Hagerstown since you brought them up. I think they're missing a real opportunity right now to reinvigorate the super late model racing. That's one of the best racetracks in the United States for late model racing. The times I was there this year, they had great crowds. I was very, very pleased. People want to see super late models race. I mean, they're 900 horsepower, very expensive race cars. Everything's manufactured now. You buy everything, you bolt on those things, and they go fast. I think they have an opportunity between Port Royal and Hagerstown that Hagerstown could really take advantage of that. I don't know that I can solve all the lesser and lesser races. These cars are very expensive, Shay, as you know. You and I have talked about this, I know, multiple times. But we're not going to fix that. That's nothing that we're going to fix. People want to see these cars race. But it gets to a point, like some of the reasons is the lower car counts. Well, $45,000 engine and $40,000 race cars and, 3 sets of shocks and, 30 tires and wheels and a hauler. And I mean, it gets to that point, but that's, it's always been expensive. We're not going to save money racing, because if you save money and let's say we make a tire roll and save money, well, we'll spend it on the shocks and make them stick harder because their tires aren't right. Well, then the shocks don't do it. Let's build our chassis different so we get more overall grip. Well, that ain't no good. Let's work on our bodies for 2 weeks and turn them around and get them aerodynamic, really strong, like Eldora, it's a big advantage, or Port Royal. Wherever, there's always going to be money in the racing. I don't know how you're going to add more races unless the promoters promote and the owners and drivers go race. That's my job as a driver and the sponsor of our car is we're going to go race what we can, and that's my responsibility. And hopefully we put on a good show for the fans so that they can come back to want to come back to the next one. I don't know that I can solve that. Shay.
You know, Jason, you had mentioned, the money side of it, and a lot of race fans don't realize this. To build a late model, a competitive late model, you're looking at $100,000 plus. And a lot of the fans don't realize that. That doesn't include all the costs that it takes to get to and from the track, and then your weekly costs such as tires and fuel. And hopefully you don't break anything, because if you break something, now you're going to spend more money through the week to get ready for the next week. And for someone like you that's a regional driver, you still work a full-time job. And a lot of people have no idea the amount of time and money that goes into racing on Fridays and Saturday nights.
Yeah, the money's one thing. We've always spent money racing. That's not going to stop, as far as racing goes. When Jason Bovert's done, there's still going to be guys spending money racing. Whoever you want to put in that, Johnny Grum, like I heard Johnny Grum mentioned earlier. When he was done, we kept on racing. Keith Kaufman quit racing. That was my guy in sprint cars, and we keep racing. The time is really, the effort and time is a lot. Now, they're easier to put together, but it still takes time, and you got to be particular. There's time cutting tires. There's a lot of, time involved in the tire, the tire technology as far as siping and cutting and making sure you do it the right way. There is a lot of money, but there's always been a lot of money in this, like you want to say, the super sprints and the super late models. So that it's just at a different, I guess you want to say, a different level now. It definitely is. And, when I really got into super late model racing it was feasible to really, at least maintain enough money to keep your car going. Now we're always probably a little behind on the cash flow, what you're making. You got to win a couple signature races a year to help pay some bills. Like, the first half of the year, we didn't run well. We weren't where we needed to be, and we got to work on it real hard. And again, the time thing, we worked hard, and now we've won, I think, 4 with the 72 and 1 with the 43A, and now it's at least covering some of the bills.
This weekend we have Super Late Model races taking place up at the Lincoln Speedway, and the last time that the Super Late Models had competed up there, you ended up going to Victory Lane. And what I thought was very interesting is that was your first win at Lincoln in a Super Late Model. How cool was that?
For me, as a sprint car fan, when I was a kid, it means a lot to me. It's like winning at Port, winning at Williams Grove. Winning at Lincoln. I've won 2 limited late model races at Lincoln, but we went there in the super maybe, I don't know, 8 or 10 times. The real heartbreaker was a speed week race. I just passed Greg Satterley. I started 8th and just got the lead with I'm going to say 6 or 8 to go, and broke the rear end. Just cleared him. Just cleared him, and I was trucking. How you just know. And that was in 13, I think, or 12. I don't remember exactly. And there was another time I think we might have run second or something, but to win at Lincoln, it definitely is at the top, one of the top of my list, because of sprint car track and the history of the place. It has a special meaning to me.
What racetrack would you say is on the top of your list of speedways that you have won at?
Portsmouth, Ohio.
Portsmouth, Ohio, and that's where. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the place where you got your Lucas Oil win?
No, I got it at Muskegum.
Okay, that's right.
We got it at Muskegum, Lucas, but I won a $10,000 to win race at Portsmouth, and my first $10,000 was at Virginia Motor Speedway. But Portsmouth just fits. I like the place. It just fits my style. It actually, I kind of we talk about Path Valley, Portsmouth's Path Valley on steroids, I call it. So it kind of fits my style, where I come from. My favorite track's Port Royal. Or not Port Royal, Path Valley. Port Royal has moved way up the list because I used to really be bad at Port Royal. Really bad. But Port Royal is moving up the list. But the way you're respected at Port Royal is at the top of the list. As a race team, they treat the fans right, and things. Portsmouth, same. Path Valley's improved their facility tremendously. Portsmouth, same thing. When you go there, you always see things that are improved. And that, I think, my personal opinion, is Port Royal Speedway has made tracks in the Northeast work on their stuff, their stands, the facility, the track. They definitely got their say crap together. I've been watching. They got their stuff together and really forced the issue.
Jason, you were a big supporter of the Max series when it was around, and now it seems like, in our local area, the only series that is a regional series is the ULMS series. To me, those regional series are really good for our local teams or regional teams to enhance their skills against some of the best in the region to prepare for those World of Outlaw or Lucas Oil events. Is that a fair statement, or am I underestimating that these ULMS events or the Max series is better than just a regional series?
Well, I think I'm gonna compare. I have apples to oranges. When we ran the Max series, there was 10 to 12 to 14 teams the first 2-3 years I ran that. We only ran it the 3 years full time. And that that level of competition definitely prepared for national racing. With the ULMS and I will say some of the other smaller series, there's only 2 to 5 teams following the whole series. Now, the 2 to 5 that do that, it absolutely helps, to line up, against the Lucas and the Outlaws. And even, the ultimate, when you go, they have ultimate shows down south. There can be 60, 80 cars at those races. So, yeah, it does. But again, I said that was kind of the heyday of racing where it was more feasible. It was 5,000 to win then. The Max series, the motors weren't as much, the cars weren't as much. There was just things were different. Points payout for Max was just tremendous. Like it basically, covered a lot of the stuff you had done that year. So I think if there was let's say we could make the Max series again in 2022 and you had 20 races at $5,000 to win and $10,000 to win around, the 4 or 5 state area, that the teams that followed that would absolutely improve to line up against Lucas and the World Outlaws.
Excellent.
You had mentioned the late model Speed Week series, and back 5 years ago, the late model Speed Week series made a trip to Path Valley Speedway, and you put on one heck of a show up there between you and Greg Satterley. I was there at the racetrack, but unfortunately, the race team I was helping out with, they were caught up in an accident, and I was not able to see that battle or your post-race interview. Could you just kind of share with the race fans just what that win meant to you?
Well, that's the first place race there in Hill Valley in 1987. The first feature I ever made was at Path Valley, and that would have been in June of 87. I'd crashed at Hill Valley the week before. And, of course, we worked during the week. My dad, we logged at the farm to make enough money to pay the bills, and then the Friday load of logs was what paid the bill for the race car. So that was my pay. Well, of course, I didn't take no pay. It went all to pay for the race car. Well, we didn't get the car done until, I'm going to say 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I called over to the Speedway and said, hey, I need to, because how many cars are there? And they're like, there's 18, but one of the guys broke, and it was a guy from Lewistown. I raced with him some. I can't think of his name. He raced late models. And they said, come on over, we'll tag you on the tail of the field. I get over there, start 18th, finish 10th, never passed the car. First feature ever made. So that winning at Path Valley was coming home. And that race meant I can't define the meaning. It didn't matter what it paid, no prestige, just to go around Path Valley in a super late model. That was the first time I got to go around there in a super late model also that night. And I'd run 4-cylinder mini stocks and 4-cylinder late models there. And I ran won some limited races. But to race with Greg for 25 laps side by side, swap top, bottom. And, of course, Robbie Allen is a really, really good friend of mine. It crew chiefs on that. And my nephew Drew works for that team. And we parked beside each other. And he got a flat, which was a shame because it was really going to be a barn burner there at the end. It was 9 to go and he got the flat. But it was like coming home. It still gives me goosebumps sitting here talking to you guys because really, I can't describe it internally. I don't know if you guys understand that. There's a lot of my sweat and a lot of tears over there. I hate to say that because I don't want people thinking I'm soft or nothing. but that place is very special to me. Very special.
Jason, as always, man, you're willing to talk to us any given time. We appreciate that. So I want to give you the opportunity to thank all those great people behind the scenes that allows you to do what you do every Friday and Saturday night. So please take the next minute or two.
Yeah, I thank my family first, and Janelle and Allison. We always now it's kind of in winning since I started mentioning Allison's going to Duquesne University and her roommates. So we do that for good luck, and my wife Janelle for kind of putting up with me. I probably wasn't the most pleasant person the last year or so because I haven't really run well. So, I take it really personal, racing and doing well. Winning isn't always finishing first. If you give all your effort, that's winning. And we were giving effort, but we weren't getting results. And now we're starting to get some of that, payback from the effort. I want to thank my mom. Her birthday's coming up here soon, so I want to thank Mean. It's very special. She's, this last couple of years has been tough. I'm sure glad she's getting to hear me at least win a few races. I want to thank Brian Kleindens from Premac. Started helping us last year. Really has kept us going. He lets me drive the 43A some, so that's pretty cool to get back in that car. Cameron Construction, my company, 5 Tech Solutions, my partner Pete. Appreciate what the company and my employees do. It's very important to me. The job comes first. Racing comes in there, too. But family, work, and racing. So that's really good. Combs Bus and Truck Service, VP Racing Fuels, Baker Outlaw Fuel Systems. Good friends with Steve Baker. I want to thank him for everything. Integra Shocks. I want to thank Miller's Racing Parts. Jake and Steph go out of their way for me when I need stuff. I want to thank the crew guys, Shannon, Tom, Billy, Jeffy, Tim, Manta, and Pete. Whoever I missed, I'm sure I missed somebody. I want to thank Pete and Mary, Cameron, and Roland Lisa Mann for everything, but Pete especially. What a fantastic car runner. He loves racing probably more than anybody I've ever met in my life. And I've been around a lot of racing people, and he is one of a kind. There's nobody like him. No one. And also just, I was listening to you guys there with Alan, and I don't do a lot of these. So, Curtis Hershey died last year, and Curtis and I were very close as far as the racing went. And we sure do miss him. And I just haven't said it a lot publicly and nothing, but we do really miss him. It left a really big hole in our racing community, and just hope his family and things, it's not that you recover from it, but you get better with it. So I just want to thank him. I mean, I know he's going, but he was a huge part of me being able to be successful in this area and, in traveling and we'll miss him forever. He was a really good friend for me for racing.
Jason, as always, thank you, brother. Good luck this weekend at Lincoln Speedway. We look forward to chatting with you again, and hopefully we'll see you in Victory Lane at Lincoln Speedway.
I sure hope so, and I do appreciate your time. I really do. Thank you much.
We appreciate your time, Jason. Take care.
You, Jason.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Covert, always willing to chat with us here on Dirt Track and Tuesday. 2 great interviews tonight. Hudson O'Neal coming off a win at Pittsburgh, and then Jason Covert coming off a win at Potomac Speedway. Real quick, I do want to give a shout-out to tonight's business partner, which is Bip and Bop Market Shop out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Reefs for every occasion. Facebook.com, Bip and Bop Market Shop, and tell them Turn 5 sent you. I also want to thank Creekside Auto Sales for being one of our segment sponsors out of Dover, Pennsylvania. And we want to thank Loco Joe's up in Bunker Hill, West Virginia. They got a big event coming up this weekend. Racing to Reunite. And this is a very special one here, folks. This gentleman that we're looking for is from Winchester, Virginia area. He's been missing for quite some time. Please call 911 if you know his whereabouts. And then if you're hungry, next 2 weeks, not this weekend, but following next weekend on October 16th and 22nd, 23rd, Red Devil Barbecue will be at Bedford Speedway. And there might be some other racetracks as well. And we want to thank Alan Saggy for doing his part with the Arch Doors and the amazing tributes that he does for the people that help build our sport. Shay, we got just a few more minutes. Final thoughts for the race fans.
First of all, just want to thank all you fans for joining in here tonight, and also want to say thank you to Hudson O'Neill and Jason Covert for being our guests here tonight. We said last week, we were trying to get 2 interviews, the winners from Potomac and Pittsburgh last weekend, and we were able to. So I really don't have too much other than just to say thank you, race fans, and hope to see you guys sometime down the road, whenever that may be, whether that be this weekend, next month, maybe sometime next year. Just never know.
Well, race fans, we really appreciate you being with us tonight. Please share this as much as you possibly can. And if you see all those sponsors right there in the white segment area, if you see those individuals, tell them thank you. Because a lot of them, they're not just sponsoring us, they're sponsoring race teams, events at the track. If you see any of these individuals, please say thank you, regardless of who it is, for what they do for our sport. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching tonight's show and sharing it. Don't forget, we'll be back on the air next Tuesday night.
Yep, and remember, support those who support racing.
Amen to that. Race fans, enjoy your week. Get out to a racetrack, whether it's Friday night, Saturday, or even Sunday at Trailways. Enjoy your weekend. And one thing that Jason Covert said in his interview that has stuck in my mind since he said it is family first. Remember that. Family and friends is first. Work can be second, and racing is third. Sometimes we get that mixed up to where we don't have our priorities right, but we always got to keep our friends and family first. On behalf of Corey Simmons, Alan Saggy, Shay Judy, I'm Danny Wilson. Thank you all so much. Take care. God bless. And we will see you at a track near you or on our show next Tuesday night. Thank you all so much.